everybody, Crafting Journey here, that Journey Chick on Instagram. Welcome to another edition of Crafting and Crime Daily. On Mondays, it's hit or miss. You never know if there's going to be a live trial for me to recap. Today, there's not, but I got a missing persons story for you. The disappearance of Timothy Wrightson. Yeah, old case, but never been solved. Anyway, so yesterday, while I was chit-chatting with my good friend Mickey Sunshine Creates, I did my journal. I decorated it for the week. It's so pretty. It says stay home and plan, which that's what I've been doing when I'm recovering from knee surgery. Staying home and planning. Yep. So I added a bunch of stickers to make it fun, you know. So anyway, here I always put what national day is it. This is national. This is an exciting one, guys. National Life Insurance Day. Life. Not a whole lot to say about that. Really and truly. Life Insurance Day. And this day in history, we're going to talk about what instituted or what brought about the wearing of rubber gloves on murder scenes. Yeah, you're like, what? Ooh, yeah, it's interesting. Interesting stuff to listen to while you craft. Whether you're doing watercolors, diamond painting, crochet, loom knitting, coloring, whatever it is you're doing, I'm going to give you something to listen to while you do it. So National Life Insurance Day, not a whole lot to say about that, except if you don't have it, get it. It's a great thing to have. You know, in my research, I did not know. I found out that when you die, your debts come out of the life insurance. Who knew? I thought I was just leaving money to the kids. No. First, your debts come out of your life insurance, and then whatever's left goes to your loved ones. I thought those student loans were going to go with me into the grave, but apparently they're going to go beyond the grave. What? Okay. Yes. Never go to law school because you'll be paying forever to go. Anyway. So, yeah. Get some life insurance. There's all different kinds out there. And this came about in the 1700s. Some churches for the poor started this life insurance idea and all these people could contribute, and when a loved one passed, there'd be money for the other loved ones to, help bury that person and take care of the family till they could get back on their feet. And somebody thought it was a great idea. So we have life insurance. Now, I have life insurance through my work, through my job. And they always throw in, money on top of whatever you contribute. So it's nice to have. Okay. And I have absolutely no doctor's appointments this week. Nowhere to be, nowhere to go, just sitting and crafting. And, yeah. That's it. Letting this knee recover. Last night I sat up for 2 hours, a couple of hours. Oh, actually, it was during the day. I sat for a couple of hours and I watched a Dateline. And by the end, Datelines are always 2 hours because, first of all, you can't fast forward through. Because we usually record Dateline. This is like a long story. We usually record Dateline, so you can fast forward through it. But because of the tornadoes the night before, we had to watch the Dateline on the replay, which is, the on demand, instead of watching our recording. So, and it was an interesting story. I don't even remember what it was, but it was an interesting story. But by the end of this 2 hours, I'm like, can it please end so I can go lay down? My knee was screaming at me. And I was sitting in my lounge chair with it elevated, and then I'd lower it for a little while, and it just was not happy. My knee was not happy. So back to those tornadoes. Thursday night, I get a phone call. And dummy me, grandma me. I'm like, I see it's my son. Oh, my son's calling me. Hello, Ryan. Hello. And he's like, Mom, you're on FaceTime. Click the video. I'm like, oh, okay. So I clicked the video, and there's a tornado. He lives in Andover, Kansas, which is a little town just east of Wichita. I live in Wichita. Because when I moved up here, my goal was to move near him, but I didn't want to be like on top of him. So we are about 20 minutes apart. So he's showing me this tornado that was moving very, very quickly. And I was just fascinated. But I'm like, why aren't you in your safe spot? Oh my God, go get somewhere safe. And he's like, Mom, it's not coming this way. I'm like, oh my God. It was amazing. Mother Nature is amazing. Here's a clip of the picture he sent me. A still picture that he sent me. I wish I'd recorded the FaceTime. I'm sure there's a way, but Grandma doesn't know what that is. So I didn't do it. But anyway, there was quite a bit. The path of this storm was the width, not the path, but the width of this storm was probably only about a block. But it was a Category 3. So whatever was in that block, in that path, was destroyed. There were homes destroyed, cars flipped over, lots of roof damage, porch damage. Luckily, and my son lives in the exact model of home, only just like a few blocks from where it hit. Thank God he's okay, because he wasn't in his shelter. Silly boy, silly family. Yeah. So that was our excitement for Thursday night, which is why we had to watch Dateline on demand Friday. Yeah, I know it's a whole. I love Dateline. Like, I'm Lester Holt, and this is Dateline. I love Lester Holt. He's always got the vest on for the Dateline. Here's your Dateline vest. Yeah. Okay, we're done with this. Okay. My goodness. All right, today we're going to craft some loom. We're going to do some loom knitting. And what I did for this hat, I made the other hat. Here it is. This was the hat I made with the sweet raw fruit, but I made it with the 5/8 gauge loom. So I wasn't happy with that. I mean, it's gorgeous. Look at that. Doesn't it look like dragon fruit? Did I say kiwi? It's dragon fruit. Dragon fruit sweet roll. This is banana sweet roll. And I switched to a Cindy loom that is a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to get a much tighter gauge on this, and I think I'm going to be happier with it. And look how gorgeous this sweet roll fruit is. Oh my God. It's like lights. Yeah, yellow on lights. Not a good blend. But it's a 4-weight acrylic. I did order some more. I ordered watermelon. Yeah. So you get to see that soon when it's here. I see Stitch. He's coming this way. Hi, buddy. He's like, Mom, how do I get over to you? It's like a blockade here. I've got to clean this place up. It's a blockade. So I'm going to work on this hat. I've already done the brim here. There's the brim. That's the part where I will start it, and then I will loom till I get to about 3 inches, and then I will fold it over to create a brim. So this is the folded over part. Hi, buddy. You came to say hi to the people? So I have to investigate what is going on. What is going on here? Meow. You're dirty. You got hair. You got leaves all over you. Leaves. You've been outside. Loves to be outside. Okay. Yeah. You want to get down now? All right. There you go. So yesterday was the kickoff to the Mystery Diamond painting event that I'm hosting with Mickey Sunshine Creates over on her channel. Check out Mickey Sunshine Creates, and don't forget to subscribe to her channel. She's a wonderful creator and bubbly and fun, and that's why she's my best friend. Anyway, So we started that yesterday, and a disastrous live because, the weather's been so bad here. StreamYard has, been unstable, and I keep getting kicked out, and the lag was like horrendous, and I do apologize. I think I managed to get some content into that 1 hour, but then I had to end it. It kept locking me up, freezing my screen. So I wrote to StreamYard, and they said to put your router closer to your computer, or vice versa. Now, my router is 2 rooms away. I don't even know if that's possible. I doubt it. Well, anyway. So I'm going to be working on that while we talk about the disappearance of Timothy Wrightson. Now, this happened back in 2011. Yeah, May 11th, 2011. This child, that was the last time. The last time the child was seen was May 13th, 2011. But anyhow, so here's what happens in this case. Let me get my notes out here, because the old lady needs some notes. Okay, so Timothy Wrightson disappears in 2011, just vanishes, gone, and he suddenly reappears in 2019. Or did he? Now, you guys can fast forward to the end if you've heard this story. This is a true story, because you can't make this stuff up, right? You can fast forward to this day in history if you've heard this before. But it's worth another listen. Disappearance of Timothy Wrightson. He was born in Aurora, Illinois, in 2004 to his parents, James and Amy. Now, Amy, she had a long history of mental illness and had never planned on having children. She just did not think this was in the cards for her. And she married James Whitson, who had gone through a bout of cancer, and he was told he could not have children. So they're thinking, oh, this is perfect. We'll have a great marriage, no children. We're okay with that. But what do you think happens? Yep, she gets pregnant. And they have the little boy named Timothy, and he is just as cute as a button. And Mom just dotes on him. Let me move the microphone closer. Mom just dotes on him. She just loved that kid to death. But like I said, she did suffer from mental illness. She had a history of depression, which would come and go. And I have depression, and it does come and go. You have relapses. You have time where you're doing just fine, and then other times you're not fine. But it's part of life. It's a disease process, and you treat it like any other disease process, and you move on with your life. So they started having marital issues. Now, this was not her first husband. Amy had been married 4 times. James was her 4th husband. What? I don't know what's going on there, but so this was marriage number 4 that was falling apart. So James drops his son off at school on May 11th. Was it May 11th? 2011. Takes him to Greenman Elementary, drops him off. Have a nice day. That's the last time he ever sees his son. 30 minutes later, she checks him out. Mom shows up. Now, they're not divorced yet. They're not separated. They're still married. Both of them have custody of this child. She says, I've got a family emergency and we need to go. So they check him out, and off she goes with him. Now, James does not find out about this until later in the afternoon when he leaves work and comes to pick up his son. And lo and behold, his son is gone. They're like, we were told there's a family emergency. He's like, there's no family emergency. She's gone. So he kept trying to call Amy's cell phone, Mom's cell phone, and it was going to voicemail, or she wouldn't answer. So we do know that during this time, following the disappearance that Amy made a couple of phone calls, one to her mom, in which she told her mom, "Hey, Mom, I'm fine. I just needed to get away for a while. Just needed, some space to, think about things." And then she called James's brother, her husband's brother, and she also told him, "Hey, I'm fine." However, during the conversation, this statement comes up: "Timothy belongs to me." Now, I don't know what the context of that statement was, but she made the statement, "Timothy belongs to me." That says a lot, doesn't it? Okay. So over the next few days, surveillance footage shows that she is taking Timothy on this park tour. She takes him to the zoo the next day. Then she takes him to a resort the day after that. And the last time that Timothy is seen is on camera here, on this surveillance camera where they're leaving the resort. And the next time we have surveillance footage is later that... Now, this is like 10 o'clock in the morning. They're checking out of the resort. Then we have more surveillance footage where Mom is walking into a grocery store at 11 o'clock that night, wearing completely different clothes, and no Timothy. Timothy's gone. The following morning, room service, or the housekeeper at the hotel where Mom spends the night in Rockford, Illinois, finds Mom dead. Mom had cut her wrist and taken toxic amounts of medication, enough medication where it became toxic. I don't know what the medication was. But she left a suicide note. And in the suicide note, she said she apologized for all the trouble she was causing, but that Timothy was somewhere safe, but he would never be found. That she had taken him to people who would take care of him. Yeah. Now, if she's mentally ill, now, she could be delusional. She could be. And she could think maybe death is a safer place. I don't know. And why did she change clothes from morning till that night? Did she have blood on her regular clothes? We don't know. I'm just, my crime mind is going. Yeah. So they looked for her cell phone to see if they could, get some hints from her cell phone. Her cell phone wasn't found until almost 2 years later in a creek, and it did not lend itself to any more further information on this case. I'm a very slow loom knitter, by the way. Unless I'm watching TV or something, I'm pretty slow at this, but it eventually gets done, like any other craft, right? So the town commences a search of Aurora, Illinois. They search everywhere. They cannot find this child. No, he is gone. Then, April 3rd, 2019, the police get a phone call that this teenager is wandering around downtown. So they go to this guy, and he appears to be an adult. He looks like an adult to me, but he's claiming to be 14-year-old Timothy Wrightson. And he says, "I've been held captive for many years in a warehouse with these beds on the floor, and my mother gave me to these people, but then they did terrible things to me." And he knew all these details about Timothy Wrightson, his date of birth, and so what they did was they took him to the hospital to make sure he was okay. And at the hospital, they drew some blood for DNA. Well, the DNA comes back to this known criminal named Brian Rennie. And Brian already had been charged with 2 counts of impersonating a teenager and falsely reporting that he was drug or sex trafficked, which is what he was doing here. So he later confessed, and he said, "No, I'm not Timothy Wrightson. I'm really 24 years old, which they kind of already suspected, because they said he just didn't carry himself like a teenager. He appeared more as an adult. So he's arrested. He's charged, but for years they could not try him. He had to be evaluated. He was in a mental institution. They had to evaluate him to see if he was competent to assist in his own defense counsel. How they have to do that, not declare insanity, but just to see if he's aware enough to assist in his own counsel and know what's going on. And so that evaluation did happen, and he changed his not guilty plea to guilty. So there was no trial. And in late 2020, he took a plea deal where he was sentenced to 2 years for aggravated identity theft, and he was credited for 20 months time served. So I'm sure he's out of prison by now, and on to his next caper. Meanwhile, Timothy Wrightson is still missing. Now here's a time lapse of what he would look like today, or at least a couple of years ago. This was what he would look like at 16 years of age. Now, if you have seen this child or this teenager or somebody that looks similar to him, maybe he's your next door neighbor and he's calling himself Jimmy Joe or Billy Bob or whatever, you can call the Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I'll put the number up here, because it's important to the family that we keep this in the news. They want to keep this kid's picture out there. The father firmly believes he's still alive. He believes what the mother said, that she placed him with people that would take care of him, and apparently that he would never be found. But as this child becomes an adult, maybe he'll want to be found. So yeah, so sad. Anyhow, this day in history. On May 2nd, 1924, Patrick Mayhon is arrested in London. He comes to the Waterloo train station to pick up his luggage, and his luggage is like dripping blood. And inside the luggage is a bloody knife and a case that were quickly connected to the death of his mistress, Emily Kay. Now, he was also married, and he claimed later on that Emily, his mistress, was pregnant, but he didn't want to divorce his wife, so he killed Emily and sliced her up, put her in the freezer. Well, put her in different places. The jelly, the cookie jar, the biscuit jar, as it is known in the UK. He dismembers her, and he had trunks, hat boxes, all these places. So what happens was, when these investigators come to investigate this crime, there was no such thing as rubber gloves, and they were forced to go pick up these pieces with their bare hands, and very grisly. So the medical examiner actually had to piece the body back together to figure out the cause of death. Now, he had claimed that she had fallen, and that she hit her head, and that he had to cut her up to hide the evidence. I don't know, but so she pieced it back together. She ruled out that he had fallen. I don't know if she was able to rule out pregnancy or not. Not sure about that one. But after that, they made wearing rubber gloves routine at all murder scenes. Good idea. Well, now we know that you wear gloves at every crime scene for numerous reasons, but this being one, the blood and gore, yeah. Ew. So, don't you love when I end on those kind of notes? So I'm going to go back to my loom knitting. I will tell you that I'm going to work on my watercolors this afternoon. more watercolor. I keep saying more watercolor videos to come. Here's what's happening with the watercolor. Once you get a certain amount of equipment, you've got your paints, and I got my basic paints, and I'm like, oh, I need the better paints, and then you get the basic brush, and you're like, oh, I need the better brushes, and now I find out I need this brush with the long bristles and you could go down this rabbit hole for a long time and still not come up with any painting that you think is decent. So it's better that I, backtrack a couple of steps and say, let me work with what I've got and see what I can do. Just play with it and see what I can do. So, and not try to copy all these pictures. I was trying to copy these pictures, and it just, and it just looked horrible because watercolor is not something that can be copied. It just, you can get close to what someone else has done, but you're not going to be able to recreate that. Whatever you create is your own creation. And once you get that into your headspace, you'll be great. You'll be great. All right. That is the show for today. Thank you guys for stopping in. Don't forget to hit the like button. He has once again promised to make the banana bread. I said I would help him. Yeah. In all honesty, the like button hasn't been feeling well, so I'm giving him a break, but still hit him, okay? Hit him. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed and you enjoyed the content. I do put out this content Monday through Friday, and I go live twice a week, Wednesday night and Sunday morning. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss a pop-up live. You don't miss a single episode of any of my content. So if you're already a member, if you're already a subscriber, please consider becoming a member, because that goes to support the content of the channel. Yes. Thank you guys for tuning in today, and I will see you tomorrow. Crafting and crime.